Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pizzas Here podcast, your home for all news and content surrounding the Washington Capitals. Today we're joined by yet another special guest. She has experience working as a digital sports producer for NBC Sports, a digital content producer for Sporting News Canada, writing for both Fansided and the Hockey Writers, and currently covers the Caps for Washington Hockey Now and is an associate editorial for Peacock TV. Her name is Sammi Silber. Sammi, thanks for coming on today. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to be here. Big fan of, the show and you guys. So I'm very excited. Much. It's a dream come true,
I don't know if I'd say the Pizzas Here podcast is a dream.
Or a dream destination now?
A dream destination. I'm serious. Yeah. I'm pumped.
They call us Maui, because we're just a dream destination.
That was the worst joke I've heard today.
I'm happy you lost the Rocket League match.
All right, that's messed up.
I'm gonna let it slide. All right, so here, let me just. I was fixing the title, but so what's your life been like as a reporter and a journalist, and how'd you get to where you are today?
It's been a roller coaster. I mean, but it has been, I'm very blessed to get to do what I do, not to be the cliche of like, it started when I was young, but I went to, a hockey game when I was 9 years old, and, I saw guys punching each other, there were the fights, there was the Ovechkin goal, there was, the Jose Theodore performance in net, and I fell in love. It was a Caps Blues game, and I was like, this is sick. Like, why am I just hearing about this now? And so, when I grew up and, I always loved writing, and I was like, by the time I was going to graduate high school, I was like, maybe I'll be a teacher. And I was like, wait, like, I'm not good with kids. Like, I'm socially awkward and I look like a kid. So maybe not the best path. So like, let's try to combine writing and hockey. And it turns out, I think I'm good at it. I hope I'm good at it. And I hope I bring joy to the people who read, but I went to University of Maryland, and I had a lot of people tell me to pick a different sport because hockey writing's a tough field and not a common one, but you stick with your passions, so I got lucky enough to work for, a couple great places, got to start blogging at Fanside, and then the Hockey Writers was where I actually first got credentialed with the Caps, just through hard work. And that first season, my first game was actually Caps Blues, like the first ever game I covered, so that was really cool. And then it just,
circle.
Yeah, it was full circle. It's one of those like cliche moments that you're like, like, is this cheesy? But it's actually like really incredible when you stop to reflect. And that was actually my junior year was the year they won the cup. So that was incredible to get to be a part of that and go on that ride. And, I had to get a full-time job when I graduated. So got to work for places like the Washington Post and NBC Sports and Sporting News, and eventually I ended up at Peacock, which is an absolute time, and then got approached to launch Washington Hockey Now, and now we're here. So it's been absolute, honor to get to cover, your childhood team, but to share those stories with other people.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's definitely nothing better than getting to write or talk about such an awful franchise that we love.
Okay,
that's a joke.
I'm always on this hill. Like, Caps fans don't realize how good we have it. But anyway,
yeah, obviously it's a joke.
You've been at this for 6 years now in total. If you want to,
I think so.
What I was reading on your link and on your profile.
Oh dear.
But is it up to date? My LinkedIn is terrible, so I would understand.
I don't know if it's up to.
At least you have a LinkedIn.
I mean, I love my jobs, so I don't update all the time, but okay. I think so.
So in that time, what are some of your favorite memories in your time as a sports journalist?
Man, that's a tough question. I mean, getting to walk in the locker room for the first time was incredible. That moment was just like a starstruck moment where you also had to like play it cool, and be like, yeah, like, what's up? And then like afterward, like you could go home and like freak out. And I was like, I was 19 at the time. I was like a baby. So, and so starting off with that was wild. And then obviously getting to witness Ovechkin, is an absolute something that, you don't take for granted every single game that you go to, just because that's like a generational talent and getting to watch who I think, numbers aside, is the greatest goal scorer of all time, full on. It's incredible to watch. And, just the stories. Like, I remember, talking to Kuznetsov, who, like, he drew like a stick figure and he like came over and he was like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, it's great. Like, it looks awesome. And he was like, "Mm-hmm, the best." And I like walked away and I was like, what? And then Ovechkin delivering pizza this season was obviously very cool. I did not even know that was on my bucket list, but hey, pizza's here.
Shout out
That's so
Papa
funny.
John's. Shout out Papa John's DMV for sending me.
Yeah, it's on our
Yeah.
bucket list now too, because
Shout
apparently
out
I
to-
forgot that we exist.
Shout out to Papa John's DMV for sending me an Ovi cutout. That was hype. I still
Oh,
have to
that's
post that.
sick. And then just recently I started this organization called the Pride of Hockey, to get people involved in hockey and, journalism and sports media, people who want to start and may not have an outlet, to give them a voice. So starting that has really meant a lot to me. I mean, and the Stanley Cup final, obviously. I mean, going to that and seeing your childhood team win, and I mean, getting to go to the parade and just share that moment. I mean, and seeing the trophy up close too it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, the Conn Smythe is probably one of the most beautiful trophies in sports. I know the Stanley Cup's right there, but I'm a
Did
big
you
Conn
touch it?
Smythe fan. I did not touch it. No.
Well, they'll have
you-
to win again just so you
you-
can.
Yeah, you try to keep the professional. I was hoping it would be at like one of like the media like luncheons or like parties, so like I would peek my head in and be like, "Is Stanley here?" But no, it was never in the building. It was like in Washington D.C., but like next to like Fall Out Boy and that kind of stuff. So I'm not a member of Fall Out Boy, so I couldn't touch it. Anyway, but that's my spiel.
We didn't assume you remember Fall Out Boy, but
I thought
pretty
like
awesome.
the whole reason I'm here is because I thought we were interviewing a member of Fall Out Boy. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to. I'm just...
I knew it.
You talked a little about your like interactions and stuff, but do you have like a favorite article you've written over the years, like one that you've really passionate about that you've written and like posted on any of your websites you've worked on?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, they're very special to you, especially when you have these one-on-one interactions and you get to, share that work with others. I mean, that's why I do it. I want to be able to share stories and talk to people and, get, scoops and not scoops, because I'm not like an old fashioned, like I'm going to get the scoop kind of journalist, but like, like get stories and fun things that, everybody may not know. And to get to share your passion with other people is a dream. So I think my favorite has been talking to, I'll go back to Kuznetsov, just because me and him really click. I mean, he has a very good sense of humor, and you find, when you go in the locker room, there are a lot of guys that you click with. And he's definitely one of them. So, I got to talk to him, about everything that happened this summer and last season and how he's, been unbelievable this season. And you can tell he's really enjoying the game and smiling on and off the ice and just having an absolute blast, and not being like, "Why do you smile all the time?" But like, like, where you get your sense of humor from, man? Like, how are you this funny? Like, I needed a good laugh that day. So I think that one was something that meant a lot to my heart.
Just be like, why are you smiling? This is the Washington Capitals. You're not supposed to smile. It's a cup or no smiles.
No smiling in life allowed. No.
We don't accept president's trophies
It's great to see
anymore.
Kuzi.
Hey,
like
I got a President's Trophy shirt for Christmas. I don't want to hear that. That's a good trophy. My mom was so happy when she got me that shirt. She was like, and I was like, yeah, it's actually really cool. It was a 2017 one too. It was the year we lost the Penguins in 7. So it brought up all those horrible memories.
I remember I saw Travis's tweet when we won the Stanley Cup. He's like, it's not a second or third President's Trophy in a row, but it's a Stanley Cup. I'll take it. Like, I guess that's okay.
I think that was ACF, actually. That was ACF.
No one thought
that was ACF.
That was funny. I was like,
that was ACF. I think that was ACF. Average
Was it?
Caps fan. I think it was him.
Oh, yeah. Well, fake Travis. So, so have you had any? I guess we've kind of like already talked about this, but do you have any more cool stories of interactions with players that you've had? Someone that's not Kuzi or something else that you mentioned? No disrespect to Kuzi. I love him to death, but do you have any others?
Yeah, no, I mean, getting to know, those guys. I mean, I can say, I've never met a mean hockey player in my life. I mean, it's incredible, when I was in Washington, I was covering all different teams. I was up in New York, and we cover every team that came to town. So Brendan Burley and I just kind of chat about England for like 11 minutes on like British TV and all that stuff. And then I remember I was talking to Matt Niskanen one practice, and I was chatting with him, and I was so curious because like he was a very like blunt guy. He always like told it how it was, but like he was one of my favorite dudes to talk to because he was a kind-hearted guy, gave it to you straight. But one day he just like cracked a smile because I asked him like, what like his favorite music was. I was doing a story on, who has like the good music, and he was like, hair bands. And it was just so like random. And then Jay Beagle almost hit me with some like a big ball of hockey tape. He just missed me, so that was fun. Errant pucks. I've almost gotten hit with a puck like 3 times at different practices around the country, so that's good. Haven't gotten hit, so I've caught a couple, just haven't gotten hit, so that was good. And then
Knock on wood.
Yeah, no, I mean there's a lot of fun ones, like, and you get to know their funny side. You ask, the fun questions. You talk to them about fishing, and Phoenix Copley, if you mention books, like he will go on and on and on. Like he'll give you a million book recommendations. He does math for fun. Like he's an interesting guy, Phoenix Copley. Yeah. So
follow-up question though. So if you like, who's a Capital that's no longer on the team or has retired that you miss the most?
That's so hard. There's
She
a lot.
said it already. Jay Beagle.
I really did. I miss a lot of those guys. I mean, I think that also with the pandemic, like I didn't realize how much I missed the interaction until it was taken away from you a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Beegs, obviously. I mean, Brooks Orpik, you still see him around the rink from times, but he was a fun guy to talk to in the locker room. Niski. There's a ton of fun guys that you just love talking to. Devontae Smith-Pelly was always a class act. He was a wonderful person to talk to. Same goes for Brett Connolly. So, I mean, the list can go on, but those are some of my favorites for sure.
You could just list basically all those guys were part of the 2018 Stanley Cup team, like Jacob Vrana, Braden Holtby, Philip
Except
Grubauer.
Carl Hagelin. Yeah, he's terrible.
Carl Hagelin wasn't on the team at that point.
I know. I didn't realize.
That's why we won the cup. That's why we won the cup.
Vrana's a hardworking guy too. I waited for him like an hour after the practice because he wanted to like skate around. And then he came in with like a basketball. And he was like dribbling it, and he was like, "I'm a Globetrotter." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Can we please, like, I adore this, but like I need to get to class. So like, can we stop dribbling for like a second and just like sit down?"
Vrana the Globetrotter title idea.
He literally was like, "I'm a Globetrotter," and I'm like, "What is this?" But yeah, no, lots of fun ones.
Definitely.
Oh.
Shout out to DSP. We've had like 4 different people say that he's just like a great guy, and how awesome he is.
Wonderful guy.
So
just come on our show, DSP.
That means you can get Kuznetsov for us, right?
I don't think I want to interview Kuznetsov. He might be mad at me.
What? Dude, I will own up to my mistakes and apologize directly to his face and feel better about myself for it. I won't admit I wanted him traded though. So, what are some of your favorite topics to write about?
You guys ask really good questions. Like this, like
shout out to me, the script writer.
Yeah, this is like one of like the best podcasts I've been on. You guys like ask good questions.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, I mean, getting to go to the games is a good time, and those buzzer beater deadlines are fun, and getting that story up, is a good time. But I think favorite topics, I mean, in-depth features for sure, really getting to know those guys and, talking to them one-on-one and, sometimes, even just striking up a conversation on like, what's your favorite TV show, or like, watched any good movies lately, what do you do for fun? Like Faravari loves to go fishing, like, and then, Hunter Shepherd was like, I like fishing. And I'm like, maybe you two could go fishing together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot, but the in-depth, the stories that really get deep in who they are,
Maybe you
is
guys
something
could
I
talk
love.
about fishing on the podcast.
Yeah, maybe you guys could fish together. Like, I was like, I don't
Sammi Silber, Capitals friendship matchmaker.
She just like makes all the friendships happen. Like,
know. No, they're a very tight-knit group. I don't think they need a matchmaker. They gel very well.
I'd imagine. So speaking of those lovely Capitals, before the season, if we look back at our first episode, we all had very different mindsets of what the Capitals were going to be like. What did you think the Capitals were going to perform like this season, and have they matched up with that performance so far? Or they've underperformed, overperformed? What's like your analysis before the season, how they're looking now?
It's very hard, and I think one of the hard parts about it, I mean, it was the summer where you kind of heard, McCullough say at first, nobody's off the table. Unless your name is Alex Ovechkin or Nicholas Backstrom, and the 2020, 2021, I mean, we all know it was very strange, I mean, no big deal. The world kind of ended, global pandemic, yada, yada. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, I was expecting, for more rhythm in this season for sure. I mean, you look at the protocols and how they've changed, and you can be in the room together, you're not talking to a first year coach, from over a computer screen, like you can try to get as close to that experience as you want. It's never going to be the same. You can't equate it, so I was expecting, and then you came the first day of training camp and, Nikki wasn't there, and it was literally, I mean, you guys know, injury after injury after injury after
Mantha,
COVID case.
Oshie, Orlov,
Yeah.
Carlson, like everybody keeps getting injured.
Yeah, especially like with Mantha. I mean, you had him like come in at the end of the season and, decent showing through those 14 games, to end the regular season. And you're like, what are we going to see from him this year?
Yeah, I bought this fucking jersey and he's played like 20 games and I'm pissed about it.
Somebody tweeted at me the other day and they were like, he's been invisible all year. And I'm like, what? I was like,
go to like game 10, you're going to start seeing a bit of a trend there. It's not invisibility. He's just injured.
That trade was such a terrible trade. Mantha hasn't done jack shit this year. What even happened?
Both Vrana and Mantha play like a combined like 30 games, like on either team.
Yeah, it was the worst trade ever. They was both vanished.
Sorry, my dog's a big Anthony. She's a big Anthony Mantha fan. We hear you. I know. Okay. Motherfucker. Oh, sorry. Excuse my French.
Okay.
Oh, this is live stream, right? Oh, you can't even bleep it. I'm sorry.
Oh no, we don't censor here. We don't censor here.
Hi everybody. I curse. No, I mean, so the expectations, I mean, after all that happened, you didn't really know what was going to happen, right? And everything that they've been through, you got to consider that half of this roster, here she is.
Well, we got a dog. Let's go.
I know. Hi, honey. Is Hershey Bears, right? You had Connor McMichael come up, although he was expected to make the jump, but you also have, guys like Marty Faravari, who's a rookie and a top pairing shutdown defenseman. You got Protas, who's making strides. You got, Brett Leeson. I thought he's had a couple of really good, strong games. And you have a lot of call-ups from Hershey coming up and proving their worth. And, you also had Michael Kempney, who has just had the worst go of it. But, you thought he was going to come back this season. And, things happen. Things go wrong, and so Faravari has been one of the biggest surprises. So, I mean, with regard to how they performed, we know this recent stretch hasn't been great. They know this recent stretch hasn't been great. But, like, you got to give them credit for where they are. Like, Ovechkin, on the first year of his contract, 36 years old, leading the league, or among the league leaders in scoring. Not too shabby for the guy. Nicholas Backstrom coming back, he's on fire. Kuzi's having that bounce back, and you have them, in playoff position with everything they've been through. They haven't, dropped all the way down. They work very hard. So I think it says a lot about them that, the expectations went down the drain for me when the injuries happened, so I didn't know what to expect. But Caps fans, you should be happy, I think, about where they are right now. I know it's tough with the inconsistencies in the power play, and you guys will probably talk all about that kind of stuff. You probably do every week, but for where they are position wise, it's not bad end of the world shape right now. It's not panic button time.
Yeah, they're definitely in a decent position right now. If the season ended, they'd be playing Carolina in a series, with Carolina being the home team. And
I don't want that.
Well, it's either that or we go to Florida. And honestly, I'd rather go to Carolina and take my luck than face Florida's offense that seems to want to score 6 goals
by
per
the
night.
end of the season. That's what I want.
Why do you want to go to Toronto?
Because I think we can beat Toronto.
I'd rather play
we can
Toronto
beat anybody.
than Carolina.
We've literally gone toe-to-toe with basically
Lose
everybody.
to anybody.
Man, you can say that about anybody. We lost to freaking Ottawa one night, I'm pretty sure. Like, we're so inconsistent at this point. I'd rather face Carolina.
I'd rather face Toronto than Carolina.
Well, if you want to face Toronto, you have to go to the Atlantic bracket, which means you have to face a combination of Toronto, Tampa Bay, Florida, or Boston, and all 4 of those teams are not fun.
That is actually a good point. If we did get past the first round,
with how well we've played against Pittsburgh, how well we've played against Carolina, and how well we played against New York, I'd rather take our chances in the Metro bracket than in the Atlantic bracket, because at least we match up well against everybody else in the Metro. I don't know what the hell to do against Florida anymore.
good point.
Yeah. Mason Marchman is apparently a 10-point scorer per week, so we're in trouble.
So we just came off of the All-Star break. We've only had a couple games since our last episode, but we did have the All-Star game yesterday. Kuzi and Wilson both went, and Tom Wilson, the best goal scorer in the NHL, scored 13 seconds into the first game. And we also saw Kirill Kaprizov honor Alex Ovechkin in the breakaway challenge, putting on Ovi's jersey, having the yellow laces, and drinking from a lemon lime Gatorade bottle. So that was, and the celebration. So that was super cool. Kaprizov to DC is starting now.
I think I would donate a kidney for that, straight up.
I'm with you on that. I'd empty all of the money in my wallet, which isn't.
Oh, for Kirill Kaprizov on the Capitals, yeah.
Enough, but yeah, I would try to help the cause.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to let you know, 5 years, Ovechkin's money comes off the books and he probably retires. Kirill Kaprizov's a free agent.
Yeah,
I want to see them play together, though.
Yeah, that would be.
I want to see them play together.
At this fucking point, that's not going to happen. There's no way Minnesota's trading him. There's literally no way.
There's obviously zero hope, but it would be cool.
Yeah, but I would love to see some of that.
Drop the phone, man.
DC. It's all good. Tom Wilson obviously had a great night. Sorry
about that, guys.
That's all good. I love how everybody's admitting we want a Tom Wilson on our team. And everybody on Capsters if Tom Wilson was on your team, you love him. And they're like, that's not true. And every player's like, yeah, we'd want Tom Wilson on our team. He's really good. And I'm like, well,
So the last 2 games before we had our last episode, or since our last episode, we beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, 4-3 in overtime, and then we lost at home 5-3 against the Oilers. So that last game was obviously fun. We were without Ovechkin being on COVID protocol, so he missed the All-Star game. But yeah.
Yeah, that was whatever. I mean, the problem I had with the Oilers game was this. I didn't like the fact that they started Samsonov. I think that's kind of a game where you say okay, we're gonna play Copley, and if we lose, whatever. But they started Samsonov after he had faced something like 47 shots the night before.
40-something shots coming in for relief.
And then started him again, and he looked awful at the beginning of the game. But I understand, And so I didn't like that decision. And then they came all the way back and gave up. Was it just a shorthanded breakaway or something like that? It was the weirdest
fucking goal ever.
Yeah. We let up a shorthanded.
I think it was Yamamoto and Nugent Hopkins were coming back. Yamamoto basically shot it, got saved, threw it back to the front, and then out of nowhere, we have two Sammys now. he sent it to the front. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was basically right there for a layup, and that was probably the weirdest goal I've ever seen scored. Which yesterday was probably like the one day you could have been like, oh, well, the power play is excusing it, but like that was like our first power play of the entire game, and we just like got short on short-handed.
Yeah, that was awful. The win against the Penguins. We're losing Sammy.
Just keep
We
going.
lost him.
She'll join
I
back.
was gonna say the win against the Penguins was really just Ilya Samsonov. So I don't know. Like you said, we played well against the Penguins, but they outplayed us. And I know the refs were like, the refs were actually probably the worst I've seen them in a long time. I mean, that goalie interference call, I think may be the single worst call I've ever seen
so bad
in an NHL hockey game. Like
it was
inexcusable.
What's it called? What did they say? The words were
the
force
back
or
of
some
his
shit
skate was in the paint. Like, dude, like
what was it? Oh, it was indisputable evidence that he was making excessive move into the paint,
terrible.
which his like skate was like barely in the blue paint, which you're like
terrible.
Okay.
One of the worst
What?
calls I've ever seen. But Samsonov won us that game. Penalty kill looked terrible, but I'm willing to give them an excuse.
Yeah, but you know we're keeping Carl Hagelin for penalty.
We're keeping him for penalty
It was
killing.
one game.
baby.
It was one game.
Killer.
It was one game. I'm not willing to.
Have you seen Snively? Snively scores short-handers. Put him on the penalty kill.
I don't think Snively scored.
Welcome back. Is it working now?
Or he's scoring. Oh, that's right. He scored in Hershey.
He scored a Hershey short-hander like twice.
That's fucking Hershey, man. Good lord. This is the NHL.
We run the same system as Hershey.
The system doesn't work.
And Snively hasn't done bad when he's played up in the NHL. So
that's true.
He's been on Koozy's wing. That makes life easier.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's got the capability of killing a penalty and even finishing a breakaway, which we know our penalty killing maestro can't do, I mean, I don't see why we need to keep him there. It's like you can't get paid $2 million a year just to miss a breakaway every game.
If he could just score goals, a lot of the issue with him wouldn't exist. That's all I ask.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he's a bad player. It's just the finishing is not there.
A top nine winger should be asked to score at least more than one goal per month.
Not a top 9 winger.
He is technically he's on the third line for a long point of the season. So at this point, I can't be asked to be like, oh my God, excuse him for constantly rotating lines. He's Carl Hagelin. He's played with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. He needs to learn how to score a goal. It's unexcusable at this point.
So aside from penalty killing, which, I mean, hasn't really been a super issue this year, but what are our issues right now? Obviously, goaltending is a problem at times, and obviously our power play is an issue at times, but what else is there?
I don't really think goaltending is that much of an issue anymore.
It's been pretty good.
It's been getting better.
It's been good the last week or so, but we all know very well that it's a seesaw. We'll go through a couple weeks of them playing solid, and then a week or two they'll play like they shouldn't be in the league. So,
what do you think, Sammy?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Can you hear us, Sammy? You're muted.
Your mic. You're muted.
My Wi-Fi went out, and then I dropped my phone. So I apologize for ruining the show.
Oh,
You're all
no,
good.
it's not red. You're all
No
good.
worries.
Yeah, no.
So how much of an issue do you think are the goaltending and our? I mean, obviously everyone's going to agree the power play is an issue, but what do you think about the goaltending right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that definitely is, has been, it's not gone unnoticed or unacknowledged. I think that both of them are young, I mean, obviously, but both of them, I mean, you gotta find that consistency, not just with one of them, but both of them, right? I think Vitek is really starting to hit his stride and get in a swing. He's been tremendous over, I think, his last 6 starts. He's only allowed 10 goals, but his save percentage, over that span has been outstanding. So I think if he can keep that up, I think he can prove that, he can be the guy. But at the same time, you wonder, with the inconsistencies, I mean, you see win-loss. You have sometimes, you'll have Sammy come in, he'll have a really good night, or sometimes he'll come in and there will be, goals that he might want back. I mean, the same goes for Vitek, right? I think the same goes for a lot of goalies around the league, but, I think at some point you got to wonder, is there a need for a veteran presence? Is there a need for somebody with the playoff push and the window for the Stanley Cup? I mean, we don't exactly know where it's at right now. I mean, I don't think personally it's close, but you never know, especially with the injuries and the, core and all that fun stuff. So I think there's definitely maybe, a veteran presence is needed there, but I mean, you got to have the right deal too. You don't want to give away, a top prospect, for a rental. You don't want to give away some really promising pieces to bring in a veteran who can find consistency but may not be spectacular. You know what I mean? So it's a lot to think about for sure.
So do you think that we can win a cup in the next year or 2 or 3 with the goaltenders we have now?
It's a tough question. I mean, as somebody, I used to play goalie, and I know that it's one of the most mentally challenging positions from the human standpoint. I think of things a lot from the human standpoint. I mean, the more personal side of the game, it's just finding that consistency you need to get in a rhythm. And I mean, if the inconsistencies continue the way that they are, you're not going to win, a playoff series if you're going win loss. But also it doesn't just fall on the goalies. You need the play in the neutral zone to tighten up. You need to have the defenseman reading the plays correctly. You need good play in front of you. You need offense. That's been one of the struggles lately. It's been chasing the game and, lack of production. I mean, until they had the outbursts in Dallas, obviously, but, it's all across the board. It's not just on them. So I'm not sure. I don't think that if you have inconsistencies, it's going to win you a Stanley Cup. And in the next 3 years, who knows where we'll be injury wise or, from the way I don't expect a drop, but you never know. I mean, there's a lot to go look out for, from a whole team perspective. So that was a long-winded yes or no answer, but yeah, I mean, you need consistency to win a cup. You saw it in 2018 with Holtby. If not for his consistency and in that, I don't think they would have won the cup.
So it could be a goalie or it could be a skater, but do you think there's anyone that we could or should go after by the deadline, or do you have anybody in mind?
I mean, I'm gonna hop on the Fleury train. I don't know. Again, I mean, I don't know the
We
speculation.
started that, by the way.
Yeah.
If you didn't
Sorry,
know.
I ruined it. I dropped my phone. I done goofed. No, sorry about that.
Oh no, we started that months ago. We said Fleury to DC like
Oh, cool. Okay.
episode like 8 or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think Fleury to DC. I don't know the certainty or the recent speculation or how, I mean, it's coming from pretty good sources, but it just kind of sounds like, oh, maybe he doesn't want to, in my opinion. That's the vibe I got, not necessarily a full-on report. I think he'd be a great, veteran presence to bring on board. I think that you have a lot of young players on the roster, and he's a winner. I mean, Chicago is a mess, but you know what I mean? Like he knows how to win. He's, he's 3 Stanley Cup rings, brought Vegas to the final in its first year. I mean, he knows what he has to do, and you need that presence. And, I think maybe up front you want to maybe find a guy who can chip in some goals and, try to get some secondary scoring. I mean, from the recent stretch, it hasn't been phenomenal. So, I mean, there's a lot to look into. I mean, the trade deadline's interesting. Sometimes you get an interesting call out of nowhere and the right deal comes along, and, it's a fun time. It's like Coachella for the NHL, so we'll see. We'll see what it brings.
I think the interesting thing when people were trying to make a case of saying stuff like, oh, I don't think Fleury ever want to play with the Capitals. First things first, Henrik Lundqvist was willing to play in a Capitals uniform last year with signing a contract and everything. So it's not a case of the player wouldn't want to be willing to be there. Like Henrik Lundqvist had like a blood feud with the Capitals in the early 2010s. And was
yeah, but they are different people. You can't just generalize like that.
And secondly, he's playing in Chicago, an organization that's literally on fire and like hates its own fans. So I'm pretty sure he'd be willing to play in DC, where organization's not on fire and is definitely a lot better to our fans.
It would be
than
an
Chicago's.
upgrade for him, to say the least.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It would
I
be an upgrade.
definitely
He was
think.
literally willing to retire in Chicago, and we are like not Chicago. So I think we'd be a lot better situation for him. Competitive wise, he'd also be in a very familiar location. It's not like he doesn't know DC. He probably knows DC decently compared to Chicago. He probably didn't know anything about Chicago when he went there. So I would 100% down with Florida.
Yeah. So as of right now, the top 4 in the Metro's gonna stay the same 4 teams, I think, till the end of the year. I mean, it's not very close from 4th to 5th, but as of right now, Carolina's in 1st, the Rangers are in 2nd, Pittsburgh's in 3rd, and we're in 4th. How do you guys see the Metro wrapping up come the end of this season? Do you see it staying the same, or do you see Carolina winning it, or someone else, or where do you see everybody ending up? Sammy, what do you think?
I think, honestly, I mean, this is going to be unpopular, and all these Caps stands are probably gonna yell at me. I'm gonna say that the Rangers are gonna take that Metro title, and I think the reason that they are gonna take the title, I mean, they've honestly, after the Reeves signing, I kind of wrote them off. I was like, I don't know if they're gonna be able to, get where they need to go with a bunch of, tough guys, but they have really defied my expectations. I think a lot of people's expectations this season. I mean, Shesterkin is unbelievable. I mean, he's, carrying them. The Adam Fox injury obviously hurts, but he'll come back, I mean, and you got good scoring up front. You got the young guys and, Lafreniere and Kako, they're gonna find their stride. I mean, it takes a minute. So I think I honestly I think that they're headed in a very good direction. I wouldn't be surprised to see them win. Carolina, I mean, obviously is very, very, very good this season. So, but I'm gonna go with the Rangers.
I do think the Rangers are dangerous, but I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. I think the Canes are a step better than them. They do both have 64 points right now, but the Canes have 5 games in hand on them, so obviously that's going to help them in the long stretch of things. But I don't really see like a huge flaw in Carolina. Like I don't think there's anything that they're really going to struggle with to where it would take them away from winning. Like I think the division is theirs to win. I don't think they have anything that's really going to hold them back from that. But it is definitely possible that maybe they go on a lull and the Rangers just start going off again. But I think Carolina's going to win it. But I do think that the top 4 teams are going to stay the top 4 teams. I think maybe us or Pittsburgh might flip around with 3rd and 4th. Maybe Pittsburgh or us could make it up to 2nd if one of us goes on a run. But I think it's definitely going to stay these same 4 teams. Columbus, the Islanders, Philly, and New Jersey don't have even half a shot in my eyes.
I'm gonna kind of take a little bit of a different angle. I really think the Rangers are. I just think the Shesterkin well has to dry up at some point. They're an
Yeah.
average hockey team with amazing goaltending. I honestly
Yeah.
believe that. That's probably a little bit of a hot take, but I truly believe they're an average hockey team outside of the amazing goaltender in net. So I think that he's still going to stay well above average, but they're going to drop off a little bit. I think they'll probably finish around 3rd. Pittsburgh, I don't understand it, but every year it doesn't matter. They find a way to contend. I think they'll probably come in 2nd. I don't see anyone catching Carolina. They're just perfect, I guess. Like I don't understand. Their
I agree.
goaltending worked out. Tony DeAngelo worked out. By the way, I will say everyone was shocked by that. I really wasn't. The reason Tony DeAngelo got off the Rangers was because of off the ice things. He was always a pretty solid player. So him working out for Carolina doesn't shock me. It does dock them in my in the eyes of hockey Twitter though, so maybe that was important to them. But I like Tony DeAngelo working out for them didn't shock me, but even as well as he's done, has been a little surprising. Every offseason move they made was incredible. I don't see anyone catching them in the Metro, so I think we're actually going to come 4th. I don't want that to be the case, but I feel like the gap is fairly significant. in terms of like the average level of play that we're seeing out of Pittsburgh and Carolina and even New York compared to us. So I do think we'll probably come in fourth, but any team can make a run. So I'm not so worried about it.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
agree.
go ahead and said I am gonna say Carolina just kind of has too much of an advantage right now. They're way too like right now. They currently have 5 games in hand again with like to the closest team, which is New York, and that can be at upwards of 10 points.
That's what
So they
I
could
said,
literally be
too.
74 and 64, like compared to the Rangers. That's just like impossible to overcome. And then if you look at teams behind them, they have 4 games in Pittsburgh and 5 games in against Capitals. That's just incredible. I don't think anybody makes a run at the top 4 in the Metro. I mean, the Islanders, they have 8 games in hand on everybody. They have like 3 on the Hurricanes, but they have 8 games in hand on the Capitals, which are their closest team. So
But
they
they
can make that
blow.
up. Well, you never know, man. They always seem to start playing a lot better deep into the season. They've been having a lot of issues offensive wise, but I just don't think they're going to find it. So I think Carolina finishes on top. I agree with Will. I think the New York Rangers, Shesterkin is going to collapse at some point because they are riding his play heavily right now. And we've seen it before with many teams that ride goaltenders. They do not last you for the entire season. They need a backup plan. Their backup is Gorgiev. He's not that good. Their 5-on-5 play is very mediocre at best. Their power play is really good, but when you have to play a majority of your game 5-on-5, it's going to catch up to you at some point. I don't.
Oilers.
Yeah, the Oilers have more problems than just their 5-on-5 play. The point is, I think they're going to drop. I think the Capitals, with the injuries they currently have right now, COVID going through their lineup, everybody like constantly being taken out of the lineup. I think when you get this team healthy, keep in mind this could be the month Anthony Mantha returns. People have said that this is around the time he's ready to come back from his injury, and if he starts coming back, you got Oshie coming back from injury, and like would stop getting hurt. That'd be awesome. You could have their like wanted lineup at the start of the season for the first time at some point this month, considering they don't play that much this month. So they got a lot of time to bring guys back into the fold and to test out guys. They can bring an optimal lineup into the team heading into the March stretch when they have about 30 games left, and they can really just kind of hit the ground running and get down the stretch to the final few games of the season. I think they jump into the top 3. Pittsburgh is interesting because a lot of what they have is also carried by their goaltender. Tristan Jarry has been playing phenomenal this season, and considering what he was going through last year, it was incredible that he's taken this massive step forward. I don't know if I can trust their depth offensively wise because I don't think Evan Rodriguez is playing a sustainable rate. Kapanen has been playing very well. Jason Zucker's vanished all of a sudden. I mean, Gensel, Malkin, Crosby is a great starting pairing. You got Rust who's playing well. But if you've taken a look recently, I think they only have like 5 guys that scored points in the past 4 games. And that's not sustainable at all. That's not sustainable. I think they drop to the wild card spot. I think the Capitals drop in the top 3. I don't know if they'll go ahead of the Rangers or the Rangers will drop below them. They still play them 3 times. They still play the Hurricanes 3 times too. So those will be very important games for all 3 of those teams because if the Capitals can win all those games, the games in hand don't matter that much. So I'll say the Capitals at 2 for right now and the Rangers at 3 and the Penguins at 4 and the Hurricanes taking the division. Hot Rods, Rangers, or fucking Hurricanes, damn it.
Yeah. Sorry that we all disagreed with you, Sammy.
Oh,
Yeah.
It happens.
Rangers come first in the Metro. You can clip it and shit.
oh,
it,
I
you
mean
know?
that comes with the fun, you know. I mean, I love a good debate. You know, the point is for you guys to debate it. It's not, you know, agree with me, join or die. You know, it's
Yeah, I'm
we
just going to go ahead and ask you this. Do you know what the update is on Anthony Mantha, by the way? Like, do we know if he's alive? Like, because
he is alive. I can confirm he is alive, and you know he's you know definitely been around the guys at the rink. I mean you can see right now he's not on the ice. I mean, so right there should be a sign. I haven't personally seen him skating. You know, we talked to Laviolette, you know, not too long ago to see what was up, and there was no real update on him. I mean, it's
Pain.
yeah.
do they have any like timetables still? Is it still planning to try to get him in later in the season, at least
No.
before the playoffs?
No timetable as of right now.
Crying.
That's usually what no updates means, Joey.
I'm just trying to make sure. I'm trying. To
I
do my
need
job.
some Mantha news. I feel
I
you.
need Mantha news. We haven't heard anything since he got injured, and I saw the pictures before Christmas break where he was out of the sling, and I was like, "Oh man, he's gonna come back soon." And it's just nothing else. This is nothing. I'm like, okay. I guess I just won't hear anything about Mantha anymore. That's fine.
Will,
all
you're
good.
up.
Oh boy.
fun
Roses
with
are
this
red, violets
You gotta
are
like
blue.
introduce it
Okay,
first. I'll just-
ready for? Are y'all
Like,
ready
you gotta
for
hype it up.
the Manscaped read that I'm so excited to do? Um,
They're signing our paychecks.
They're
Let's not
paying us
sound
money. You have to
sarcastic.
be excited.
all right. Um, here we go. Are we all ready? Everyone's amped up. Roses are red, violets are blue. Don't let a wild pube wreck you. Valentine's Day, which I'll be very busy on myself, is just around the corner, and our sponsors at Manscaped are here for the best tools to get your balls ready for the special occasion. This V-Day, it's time to join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, the leaders in below the woos grooming, with our grooming, with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use code PHP. That's code PHP for 20% off and free shipping.
Shout out to Manscaped. We love you.
Shout out to Manscaped, the bros and girls who work there. Obviously,
Valentine's Day is coming up.
We don't discriminate at Manscaped.
absolutely. Everybody can go get
So-
some awesome products with code PHP, 20% off and free shipping. of
If you
course.
don't have a need for a razor, they have foot deodorants.
they got a lot
They
of
have
stuff.
shampoos. They got
They got
body
lip
washes.
balm. They got all
Give
kinds
They
us
of
got
stuff.
money,
lip balm
please.
now. Go use our code PHP at manscaped.com.
Yeah,
But,
if you forget to use the code, I'll never speak to you again.
So, Sammy, we kind of already addressed this earlier, but what do you think the odds are of the Caps actually winning the Cup this year, or where do you see them ending up? Do you see us making a run, or do you see it being another first-round exit? Oh, you're muted.
Technology. I promise, I'm actually really good with like. You can ask the press box. You can ask them. I'm their like Apple genius over there. It's tough. I mean, you need everybody to be healthy, but at the same time, I mean, you saw back in 2018, right? I mean, you saw Christian Juice, play that big role and help carry them. I mean, so I'm gonna be bold again. I'm gonna say they make a reasonable run. I don't think it will be a first round exit. I think that, now that Laviolette's really gotten, to be with the team and they're aware of their issues. It's not like they're not aware of it and they don't know what's going on. They're very aware of what needs to be addressed and they have plenty of time to do that and hopefully get healthy. So I'm gonna say, pass the first round at least, and I'll be bold and say a run. Will it be the Cup? I don't know, but not a first round exit in my book.
I really just don't see anybody
Respectable.
beating Florida in the East anymore. I really don't. Florida just looks like an absolute horse right now. They're blowing everybody
juggernaut.
out. The only
I
I
think you
think
just-
it's going to be like a 28-19 Lightning. You're just going to have to find the perfect matchup for them. Which
You just need a miracle goalie performance. I feel like you need like that's why I kind of want Marc-Andre Fleury. I just don't see how you beat Florida with Vanacek in net. Like it's just not gonna happen.
Samsonov did really well against Florida when he played and was healthy. It's just that one
Not
game
in
where
a
he had that,
seven-game series, though.
Yeah, Samsonov's
Oh,
getting
you
shelled.
you doubt Samsonov in a
Yes, I
7-game
do.
series.
I do doubt Samsonov in a seven-game series. You
Man.
can quote me on that.
That's some Samsonov slander. I
We
won't
can't
have
we
it.
can't win a playoff series against the Panthers swapping back and forth our goaltenders every night. It's not going to happen.
Hey, the Blackhawks did in 2015. That's how they did it. Dilia and
Our team is
Crawford.
not that good.
Man, they got some
Yeah, the
scrub on that team
2015
doing stuff.
Blackhawks were a
No, they
monster.
weren't.
But so, Sammy, we're going to ask you every single one of the individual awards in the Stanley Cup, and you can give us your winner if the season, not if the season ends today, but who you see winning it at the end of the year, and I guess just a quick why. So, who do you have winning the Hart?
Alex Ovechkin. I think that
That's the right answer.
Yeah, I mean, with everything that they've been through and his durability and his scoring, I mean, and where the Caps sit, and if he weren't playing this well, they wouldn't be where they are. I mean, the Oilers are a different story. You saw, both Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, they work very well off each other, and they're very talented. But at the same time, I mean, when you have two players like that, you're gonna be good, but also they have not been spectacular, and the Heart's about, taking carrying your team to success while being good at what you do.
To be fair, McDavid did win it last year, and same situation. But
when they were good, like they're terrible this year.
I mean, yeah, but Draisaitl won the award, and they didn't win shit. I mean, McDavid was injured for a portion
They
of the
should
year.
have won a
still.
series last year. Will said Oilers in 4, and they only lasted 4 games. So I mean,
Okay,
like
they should have beat the Jets. Or
It wasn't a
Yeah.
bad take to say they beat the Jets. I mean, but in 4, yeah, that was.
I want to look back at that
questionable.
playoff brackets to see how stupidly
But-
wrong y'all were.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm the only one that had the Lightning in the final, but so Sammy, who do you see winning the Norris?
Oh, I'm gonna go Victor Hedman.
Wrong answer. It was nice having you on the show. We're gonna have to ask you to exit now.
No, it's not the wrong answer. You're the
That
biggest
is the wrong
Lightning fan
answer.
on
I don't
this
give a fuck.
podcast.
Victor Hedman does not deserve the Norris. I mean, he doesn't deserve it this year, and that would be the most deserving year of him winning it with
It's-
all of his his past wins.
Fox for me. I mean, but Hedman, I mean, I think he's always been great. I mean, he's a very good blue liner. He's very good at what he does, but he also racks up points. I think he's like right up there with Fox when it comes to scoring. But I mean, Fox, like we just talked about, without him, would the Rangers be where they are? But you also have Shesterkin doing, an unbelievable job. I mean, you can argue the same thing with Vasilevsky, but I think that I'm going to go Hedman.
You haven't mentioned Cale Makar a single time, and he's the right answer.
Hard too, but
I still like Yossi, bro. Y'all.
Yossi's my second pick. It's either
I still
Makar
have
or Yossi.
Devon Taves, the
Look,
Devon Taves hype train.
You're so dumb.
I understand the Makar thrill, but I also think that you see even Chris Letang is higher than him, in the
Makar's on the best goal pace for a defender since Bobby Orr. End of discussion.
There we go.
Bobby Orr played with a bunch. Oh, you know what? That actually helps us.
Yeah,
Anyways,
you can't slander Bobby Orr. He's arguably the best defender of all time, and I'm a Caps fan.
He played in an era where hockey was
I think Hedman has won a few Norrises where he didn't deserve it.
This would be the most deserving one.
I think he's having a great year. I think he should be up there. I think he should be a finalist.
I think John Carlson
he should be
is
a finalist,
deserving.
but I don't think he deserves it over Makar or Yossi.
I would. He has an argument over Makar and
he's
Yossi.
got an argument, but I don't. But
yeah, I mean that's the point of the sake of argument, right?
Yeah.
But I definitely think he should be up there.
So this one's not a pretty unanimous vote. There's two people that most of us haven't. There's two people that the three of us have in mind, if I'm correct. But who do you have winning the Vezina?
Well, I'm scared right now.
PHP, where dreams come to die.
I'm gonna go Shesterkin. I mean,
I feel like that's the right answer.
Who do you think's the second guy in the discussion though?
Anderson. Sure. I mean,
Oh, actually, that probably should be.
That's probably a
he's
third.
in the discussion, but he's not second.
We like Yusei Saros.
UC Saros is
I
nuts.
like Saros too. I mean, I think with where the Canes are. I mean, I know that all around they're very, very good, but I've liked what I've seen from Anderson this season, especially with the switcheroo from where he was. So I think I've liked to watch him. I've enjoyed it. So.
We have to acknowledge though how impressive the Preds have been compared to what people would have expted coming into the year.
No,
I don't know why people expect them to suck. I thought they were pretty decent.
I mean, Duchesne started off the season on a rampage. He's obviously calmed down some, but
I wanted them to suck so we could. Sorry, I didn't realize you were not.
We want Philip Forsberg.
Yeah,
yeah. We always want
back.
Capitals legend Philip Forsberg.
Bring him back, man.
UC Saros and Roman Yossi have been exceptional together, so that's good for them. But this one's, I mean, as much as we want to single this to one guy being solidified for winning it, there's definitely other people that have a good chance. But who do you see winning the Rocket?
I want to say Ovi. I mean,
say Chris Kreider.
I'm gonna go Kreider though. I mean,
I will cry. That would be the worst thing to happen in NHL.
Which makes it, I mean, which makes it, it's painful for me to say because I want Ovechkin to win the Richard. I very much do. But I think that Kreider is on some kind of stretch right now, and I don't really see him cooling down. I mean, he's
What
exceptionally.
is? Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off. But one crazy thing also, someone who's in the race now again, who is a familiar name, but Austin Matthews is tied with Ovi right now for goals with 29. I mean, yeah, boo him as much as you want, but he's got the same amount of goals as Ovi in 7 less games and 8 less games than Kreider. So he's definitely got a shot.
I think
he's
Leon is
scoring
going to
more.
win it.
I think it's probably going to be Leon Kreider.
It's going to be a
Ovi or
Leon
Matthews,
Matthews race if you ask me. But
Yeah, I
Hey,
think
Postadoc's flying up
Kreider's
those
gonna be up
ladders.
there.
I'm not gonna lie. He's been
Alex
scoring a ton of
DeBrinket's up there too. He's in 5th right now.
My
Kyle
short
Connor's in
king.
6th, but I don't think DeBrinket's going to get there. But I agree with Will. I think it very well could end up being a race with Leon and Austin.
Kyle
Well,
Connor and
I
Schweitzer
think
have
I mean
25.
I think yeah, but that's not going to sustain. But
All right. Do you guys think Austin Matthews is a top 2 player in the league? Because I
No.
honestly,
Hell
at this
no.
point, I'm convinced.
No.
I think he's only McDavid is objectively better.
Man, what, dude?
I would-
Stop.
Dude, Austin Matthews is so good.
I think he might be better than Nathan McKinnon. If I want to
Stop
be
this
hot
nonsense. Stop
taking.
this right
I mean,
fucking now. I'm
That's
gonna end
your
this
that's
def-
thing.
the only guy that I would.
What's your defense for Nathan McKinnon being the second best player in the league?
His
'Cause
speed and defense is a lot
everyone's
better.
like,
His defense is not better.
reasoning.
His defense is
Everyone's
better.
reasoning. Austin Matthews is a Selke candidate this year. You're out of your mind.
I
But
don't care.
everyone's defense for Nathan McKinnon being the second best
Selke's a
player
name
in the league.
award.
You gonna let me finish?
No. Keep
All
going.
right. So everyone's like argument for Nathan McKinnon being the second best player in the league. You ask them why, and they're just like, "Oh, just trust me, bro." Like they never give like a legitimate reason why. Like obviously he's an exceptional and talented player, but like what's backing it up?
He's the second most electric player in the league, but
Yeah, but that's not the best.
I would
you know,
probably take 34 over him right now.
I agree with you. And like Leon,
Nathan McKinnon's only played 31 games and has 43 points. Austin Matthews has only played how many games? 39 with 51. So that's about 8 games and 8 points of difference, which means at the pace McKinnon's going, he's currently playing at a better pace than Austin Matthews is.
It's not all about points though. Matthews is a goal scorer, and Matthews.
So is
has-
McKinnon. I mean, shit. He does score goals.
Matthews is like notably better at defense.
Yeah, the analytics love him. Sammy, what do you
Hey,
think?
McKinnon has 9
you've been-
goals?
you've
What
been
the
in the
hell?
bottom right corner of my screen, just contemplating.
No, yeah, I've been thinking. No, I mean, he's an incredibly skilled player. He's incredibly fun to watch. I mean, if you're talking him versus McKinnon, I'm gonna go with Matthews. If you're talking about, I mean, just the shot,
Yeah, fuck you, Joey.
the
Man, I don't
shot,
give a shit.
speed, the skill. I mean, not that McKinnon doesn't have that, but like Matthews is on another level. I mean, his shot. I was talking to one of my buddies about this. I think it's one of the best in the one of the most lethal in the league. I mean, and I don't think McKinnon has as deadly as a shot as that. I mean, Matthews can do incredible things going to the net, so I'm gonna rank him over McKinnon. Is he a top 2 player in the league? I don't think so.
Who do you have above him,
Who's your
Draisaitl?
second best then?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I would think so. I mean, the way that Draisaitl plays, I mean, he doesn't necessarily. He's not one of those guys that like, oh, he has McDavid, so like that's not the case at all. He's incredibly talented, and I mean, you can see the skill and the stick handling and he does the right things. So definitely.
I'm the biggest Leon Draisaitl fan in the world, but if I'm being completely honest, 90% of Draisaitl's goals are one-timers from the right circle, like the opposite of Ovi. Yeah. So, I mean, he's not as much of a creating for himself player as someone like McDavid or Matthews might be, but
yeah.
I also think you could argue Kucherov up in that top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I think it could be anybody of like Leon, Austin Matthews, Kucherov, or McKinnon. I think you can argue.
Nobody's mentioning Jonathan Huberdeau, and I'm not having this disrespect right now.
He's up there too right now. He's up there.
He is having a
he's
year.
got a shot at the heart.
Huberdeau
is leading the league in points right now. He's got a very good shot at winning the heart.
He's incredible. Huberdeau. He's incredible.
Also Kirill Kaprizov.
Yeah. I mean,
The points aren't. I mean, I guess.
No,
If you
there's
want- if
your
you-
like points aren't
if you wanna
everything.
say-
EA.
If you want to, I didn't say that. Will did, buddy. But
I
mean,
didn't say points or everything.
One
Yes,
of
you
you
did.
said it. One of you said it. I don't
when
want
he
to hear.
said when he said that Matthews. I mean, he said that McKinnon was on a better point pace than Matthews. He said points aren't everything, and then I agreed with you and said that his
Oh,
defense.
so there
was
you
notably
go.
better.
You should agree to the argument. So
All right, but who are we even? Kaprizov's defense is not better than the people we're naming. So your argument's still flawed.
Bro, I'm about to pull up his fucking advanced stats.
Yeah, go ahead and pull up your
Hey,
fucking.
if you
stats.
want to look at the analytics, they're gonna love Matthews, so you're
I'm
not
gonna-
gonna like
yeah,
that.
go look at your stats, Joey.
I'm just saying, like,
Alright.
the thing that makes Matthews so elite to me is that he scores as many goals as he does while still playing amazing defense and while still being able to dish the puck.
yeah.
That's what's impressive. I mean, he has three times as many goals as Nathan McKinnon.
Joey,
Yeah.
you're
That
blowing
is
on
a
your mic.
significant difference.
Sorry.
Okay.
So who do you
let's
have
move on.
winning? Who do you have winning the Calder? I mean, it's pretty much between three guys. You got Moritz Seider, you got Lucas Raymond, and you got Trevor Zegras.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Raymond. I mean, I think I love Trevor Zegras, don't get me wrong. I mean, the things that he does with the puck are absolutely unbelievable. I mean, we don't even need to talk about it. I mean, we know the dish again, as he likes to call it, or, any of those moves have been incredible. But I've really liked what I've seen from Raymond this season. I mean, the way that he's, come up and helped carry Detroit and, do that amazing stuff. So I'm gonna give it to him. I mean, Seider, I think he's leading rookies and assists right now, but he's incredible too. I mean, at moving the puck and all that fun stuff. So, but I'm gonna go with Raymond.
Yeah, I agree with you. I partially agree with you. I personally give it to Seider just because one, his point production, and two, he's playing first line D minutes and has been exceptional at it. Obviously, Detroit's not going to go anywhere this year, but I mean, the same argument goes for if you're going to say, Raymond or Zegras. Zegras, yes, he's incredible. He's a flashy and creative and very talented player, but flashiness and skill stuff like that isn't what the Calder is, and it's not what makes someone the best player out of a group. But I think it goes to either Raymond or Seider. I personally give it to Seider, but I could easily see it going to Raymond, and it would be justified.
I
Any
like
other
Raymond
takers?
or Raymond Zegras Raymond Terry Zegras or Seider all deserve it. It's really a tight race this
Did you
year.
say Terry?
Did I say Troy Terry? I meant what the
You mean
hell?
Zegras?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say Troy Terry is not a rookie.
Yeah,
So,
Yo,
do you have
Martin
any-
Fehervary for me, folks.
hey, he did make the first all-rookie team. That is cool. But, yeah, he's not going to win the award if we're being honest. But, Sammy, who do you have winning the Selke?
It's an easy one for me. It's Bergeron. I mean, he really. I think so. I mean, he's winning those draws. I mean, the consistency has been incredible. I mean, Barkov is up there too for me, but I mean, Bergeron still does it all, and he plays a great, defensive game. He can literally do anything. He honestly has been one of the best defensive forwards. I still is, and to keep doing that, same thing with Ovechkin's durability over time, right? I mean, you see the same thing from Bergeron, so that's a very easy one for me. I'm gonna go with him.
I think it very well could go to him, but I think there's other people that could be in the discussion, like Matthews, like we said. But it very well could go to Bergeron just because he's Bergeron and he's still backing it up. Anyone else have thoughts?
I think Bergeron or Matthews.
Bergeron.
It's a 2-horse race.
Yeah. So,
Actually, Kirill Kaprizov, because fuck you.
anyways, so Sammy, we don't think it's going to be the Caps, but we can hope. But if you had to place your bets right now, shout out to Jake. He's not with us today, our PHP better. But if you had to place a bet right now on who you have winning the Stanley Cup this year, who would it be?
Florida. I think
Good
that.
take.
I mean, like you said, I mean, they've been absolutely unstoppable. I mean, it takes a lot to shut them down, and I think you see Bobrovsky, coming coming back to form a little bit, you know. So I think that, I mean, Huberto has been absolutely incredible. You got Barkov playing great. You know, I love Rocco Gudas personally. And, you know, his physical presence on the back end has actually been a huge difference. I think he, like, leads the league in hits right now. So, like, they have a lot going on up and down the lineup, you know, and I think that their depth, I mean, when you have that, you're going to win a Stanley Cup. So I'm going to go with them.
It's a very fair take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me check that stat.
I still have
So
Colorado. I think they're too good.
Radko Gudas is leading the league in hits right now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He's
Ryan
amazing.
Reeves is in second. Then
Boo.
Deslorius is third. Clutterbuck is fourth. And then Hathaway is fifth. So
Yeah,
that's
Hathaway is a big contact guy.
Jeannot, the rookie in Nashville, is sixth. So that's cool. I know Travis likes him, but
I think Jeannot's great.
Jeannot leads all rookies in goals right now. He's at 14. It's
Yeah.
him and then Michael Bunting in Toronto with 13, but don't tell Leafs fans that. And Trevor Rodriguez with 12, and then Lucas Raymond with 11. Jonathan Dahlin in San Jose with 11. Antoine Lundell with 10, and then Alex Newhook with 10 in Colorado. Mike Michael's got 6. He should have more, but Laviolette has a blood feud with him for some reason, so we'll see what happens as the weeks go on.
yeah. Well, Sammy, did you have any questions for us before we wrap up?
I'm so bad at that.
It's okay if you don't.
Yeah, no worries.
Just, you know, thank you
Just
guys
ask.
so much. I mean, it was awesome.
Thank you for coming on.
Thanks
We
for coming
appreciate
on. It
it.
was great.
Yeah.
I do have one last question for you, though, before we go.
Yeah.
So somebody watching right now who wants to work in the sports media or sports journalism or writing world like you do, what's your piece of advice to them?
Keep going for it. You know, don't take every opportunity you get in stride. Send out emails. Heck, you know, DM me. My DMs are open on Twitter, you know, at Sammi Silber. Go find me, DM me, and, you know, I would love to read your stuff and check it out. I mean, that's exactly why I started Pride of Hockey, right? I mean, I want to get, you know, any aspiring sports people, you know, involved, and you gotta look for the opportunities, though, and you gotta keep grinding at it. I can tell you, I mean, it's not $1 million business. You're not gonna, you know, be rolling around in dollar bills every night, and, you know, it's all about the passion and love you have for it. And it starts with, you know, the grind, and, you know, also believing that, like, you know, believing in yourself, having confidence in yourself. Not the worst thing anybody can say to you is no, but just because somebody says no doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, you know. And
Real shit.
yeah, take pride in what you make, and, you know, reach out if you want to, and you know, join people, you know, network, get your name out there, get clips, like, anywhere, you know, look for blogs, looking for writers, and start off slow, and anybody can make it big, you know. It takes time. It took me, you know, 6 years, and you never stop growing. Like, I still have ways to go. So
Definitely.
yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for coming on today. Thank you, everyone at home or wherever you are, for listening. We appreciate all of you. Again, go use code PHP at manscaped.com, and have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, guys.